My name is Sarah, and this is not a love story. This is a confession. A confession of a forbidden attraction, a transgression of boundaries, and the indelible mark it left on my life. It's a story about the intoxication of connection, the agony of guilt, and the bitter truth that some lines should never be crossed. I was a young teacher then, brimming with idealism and a passion for igniting young minds. I believed in the power of education, in the magic that happened when a student's eyes lit up with understanding. I thrived on those moments, the affirmation that I was making a difference. But I was naive, too. I hadn't yet learned that the heart, like the mind, can be a dangerous thing to awaken. It all started innocently enough. A new school year, a fresh batch of faces. I remembered the buzz in the staff room, the anticipation that hung in the air. Little did I know that this year, everything would change. That one student would walk through those doors and turn my world upside down. His name was Jacob, and he stood out from the moment he walked into my English literature class. He had this quiet intensity about him, an aura of thoughtfulness that belied his years. His eyes, a deep, soulful brown, held a wisdom that seemed to reach out and touch something within me. He gravitated towards the classics, devouring the works of Austen and Bronte with an enthusiasm that was infectious. His essays were a revelation, filled with insights that spoke of a mind far beyond his age. He was different, special, and I found myself drawn to his thirst for knowledge, his passion for the written word mirroring my own. Our conversations extended beyond the classroom, spilling into the hallways and the library. We'd lose ourselves in discussions about literature, philosophy, life. I felt a connection with him that I'd never experienced before, a meeting of minds and souls that was both exhilarating and terrifying. Our late-night study sessions became our haven. Surrounded by books, our conversations flowed freely, fueled by caffeine and a shared love for the written word. I felt alive, invigorated by his intellect and his genuine thirst for knowledge. I told myself it was harmless, that I was simply nurturing a gifted student. But deep down, I knew I was playing with fire. The lines blurred gradually, almost imperceptibly. A lingering touch as I leaned over to correct his work. A shared laugh that lasted a beat too long. The way his eyes seemed to see right through me, igniting a warmth that spread through my entire being. The guilt was a constant shadow, whispering warnings in the back of my mind. I knew the boundaries, the ethical lines I couldn't cross. Yet I found myself drawn to him, like a moth to a flame, powerless to resist the pull of our connection. It happened on a rainy Thursday afternoon. The school was deserted, the air thick with the promise of a storm. We were alone in the library, surrounded by the comforting silence of books, when our hands brushed accidentally. Time seemed to stop. His touch sent a jolt through me, a current of something dangerous and electrifying. My breath caught in my throat, and for a heart-stopping moment, our eyes locked. In that instant, the line was crossed. The world tilted on its axis. Guilt washed over me, cold and suffocating. What had I done? I was his teacher, his mentor, and I had betrayed that trust in the most fundamental way. Yet as I looked into his eyes, I saw a reflection of my own desire, a longing that mirrored my own. Our stolen moments became our secret world, a dangerous dance of forbidden desire. We were reckless, caught in a whirlwind of stolen kisses and whispered promises. I lived a double life, my days spent pretending nothing was amiss while my nights were consumed by the intoxicating reality of our affair. The guilt was a constant companion, a gnawing in my stomach that refused to be silenced. I barely slept, haunted by the knowledge of my transgression. But the fear was always overshadowed by the sheer force of our connection. I knew it couldn't last, that the truth would come out eventually, but I was lost, adrift in a sea of emotions I couldn't control. I clung to him, to the stolen moments of happiness we shared, while the world around us crumbled. The change was subtle at first, a knowing look from a colleague, a hushed whisper in the hallway. The rumors started slowly, spreading like wildfire through the school. My secret, once safely guarded, was slowly unraveling. The fear was a living, breathing thing now, a constant knot in my stomach. Every ring of the phone, every knock on the door sent my heart racing. I was trapped in a web of my own making, the walls closing in around me. The weight of my secret became unbearable. My reflection in the mirror was that of a stranger, my eyes filled with a haunted look. The joy I once found in teaching had evaporated, replaced by a constant fear of exposure. It all came crashing down on a cold December morning. I was called into the principal's office, my heart pounding against my ribs. The evidence was irrefutable. Anonymous tips, intercepted messages, the whispers finally given a voice. My world shattered. The shame was all-consuming, a tidal wave that threatened to drown me. I was suspended immediately. My career, my reputation, everything I had worked for, reduced to rubble. The news spread like wildfire. The whispers turned into accusations, the knowing looks into open scorn. I was branded a disgrace, my name forever tarnished by the scandal. The life I once knew, the life I had built on a foundation of lies, was gone. The aftermath was brutal. The legal battle, the media frenzy, the public humiliation, it all took its toll. I lost everything, my job, my friends, my family. Most importantly, I lost myself. I was a shell of the person I once was, haunted by the consequences of my actions. It took time, therapy, and a lot of soul-searching to begin to forgive myself, to understand that what I did was wrong, but it didn't define me. I had made a mistake, a colossal one, but I was determined to learn from it. I dedicated my life to atoning for my past, volunteering at a local youth center, mentoring troubled teens. I vowed to use my experience as a cautionary tale, to warn others about the slippery slope of crossing professional boundaries. Looking back, I'm filled with a profound sense of regret and sorrow. Regret for the pain I caused, the trust I betrayed, the lives I irrevocably damaged. Sorrow for the young woman I was, blinded by a connection that ultimately led to destruction. This is not a story about love, but about the devastating consequences of confusing passion with something forbidden. It's a cautionary tale about the importance of boundaries, the weight of our actions, and the enduring power of truth. My story is a testament to the fact that everyone makes mistakes, some bigger than others. It's about the long, arduous journey of picking up the pieces, learning from our failings, and striving to become better versions of ourselves. It's a story I share, not for sympathy, but in the hope that others might learn from my mistakes and avoid the path I so recklessly chose.